Good morning to you. How are you? How do you feel? Hope you feel good. Somebody asked the other day, said, Rich, are you going to cover why your hoodies don't have strings on them? The reason for that is if this guy, he just woke up, he's stretching and yawning. He's loud. He wants everybody to know he's there. Safety reasons. Whenever you're working on stuff, you can easily be pulled down into a running engine or something like that and really hurt yourself. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know, the other day when we were talking about the whole money issue with the city putting the taxpayers' dollars into the migrants being housed and stuff, we never really got into the specifics. And somebody did correct me, and they said, Rich, you said $4 million to the immigrants. It's not $4 million to the illegal immigrants. It's more than that. You might want to go do some more research and figure it out. Well, I did, and it's actually $4 million from the city and $38 million from the state itself. So, yeah. You can't put the bras in the dryer, so you gotta hang them to dry. Them suckers ain't small. So, anyhow, yeah. So it's actually like $42 million total that's being put into this, which is pretty sad because when you start breaking down the statistics of these people that could be getting paid to offer assistance and stuff like that, I think it's called, what is it, like the Favorite Foundation or something is what it's called, and they're working with the city. And when NBC or ABC asked them for receipts for where the money's going, they only provided the last 4 weeks instead of everything that they asked for the last year. And in the last 4 weeks, the Favorite Foundation was actually charging per person to the city for 4 weeks. A nurse that assists and gives aid and stuff to these immigrants was making upwards of $800,000 a year is what it would come out to if they charged the 4 week max every single month. 800 and something thousand. Let me show you a screenshot real quick. So annually, the nursing salary is $835,536. For 4 weeks worth of work, it's $64,000, 272. $64,272 for 1 month worth of work. That is outrageous. The government was doing the same thing in Iraq. Whenever we were there, whenever I was deployed, I went up to the gym attendant lady and I was like, so what do you have? What is your contract for running this gym, being the gym manager? She said, my minimum pay is like $11,000 a month. To run a gym? To run a fucking gym? To just stand here and make sure everything is clean and tell employees to clean stuff up? Yeah, it's a government contract. Wow. What the hell? And no wonder why they're getting away with $54.3 billion a year at the time. And this was back in like 2009. From these companies like Halliburton and stuff like that. All these government contracts that are sourced out when soldiers are being trained to do these jobs and stuff. The government wanted their hands in everything, and it was an easy way for them to just start raking in all this cash, working with the military. This is one of the security guards that they would hire to protect these encampments where these people are going to be at. $312,000 a year annually, $24,000 every 4 weeks for a fucking security guard. That's outrageous. We can't even pay police officers a fair salary in a lot of these places in the state of Illinois, as bad as it is. But yet we want to pay government contracted migrant security officers this much money. It's just absolutely insane, and this should make everybody outraged. The fact that these government contracts and these foundations are starting to work with the state on this migrant issue, and they're able to charge them what they're charging. $42 million. The American people can't even get help and assistance properly in medical and housing and stuff, yet these illegal migrants, they can. I've got a problem with that. A huge problem with that. This is the salary here for a housekeeper. Just somebody cleaning up the hotels and stuff where they hire these people to go in and look after them. $221,000 annually. I'm going to throw one more thing at you real quick. This is only one agency that we're talking about. How many other agencies that are involved in taking care of migrants that are getting city money, state money, and stuff like that we haven't even accounted for? There are plenty others out there. This is only one. If you guys think for 1 second that the government contracts and the money laundering and everything else that's going through this isn't part of the big scheme, you got a problem. It's not to help migrants. It's to convert a lot of these people over to Democratic voters. It's in the Democratic cities that this is happening. And they want to be able to funnel in money under some kind of organization or some kind of cause and make the taxpayers in the United States, which affects all of us. It's not just the people in the Democratic states. It's a way for them to bring money in kind of under the radar. And if you think all this money is going to migrants and people that are working to put these programs and stuff together, they took one of the retired high schools and turned it into a migrant facility. They've got tent city all down the sidewalks and stuff in front of the police stations and stuff like that. On 38th in California, they're taking an old yard, city yard that was it looked like an old rail yard or something, or a construction yard at one point, and they're bringing construction crews in to clean all that up and stuff. They're going to be putting tent city and stuff in there. It's an encampment for them. And there's talks that they are going through the process of legalization. They're actually going to go through the paperwork with IDs and court dates, and eventually the long-term effect is going to be citizenship. The problem with this is these people need to understand and be smart enough to realize that they are just pawns. They are not doing this because they want them to have a better life. They're doing this because they're buying their votes. The new mayor that we have in Chicago is an absolute joke. He's an absolute utter joke. He wants to create his own subsidized grocery store and stuff like that. It's all going to be part of the government, his own grocery store chain for lower income areas and stuff. And at first that might sound great, like he's trying to help the lower income areas and stuff, bring better food, cleaner food and stuff to them, but it's not. It's another way for them to actually bring money through and funnel through to the city. If that was the case, they would let another organization run it and not them, but it would still be the same thing. All these people have an agenda. Every single one of them. It's pretty sad whenever you start seeing the bigger picture and then you realize that we are being attacked and there's not a single one of us. Well, I can't say there's not a single one of us. Some of the people are actually out there at these places where they're trying to house these people and they're protesting. They're making their voice heard. They're standing there and they're voicing back, and the police are showing up and the news is showing up and stuff saying we don't want these people in our community. There was one lady in the African American community. The African American community is tore up by this because they have needed assistance for years and years and years, and the city barely does anything for them. Well, we can take this all the way back to the Democratic establishment, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. There was a lot of promises made to the African American community in Chicago that they were going to change a lot of things, and barely anything happened at all. Barely anything happened. Michelle Obama was talking about how she was going to make the schools so much better with health education because African American people are more susceptible to certain health conditions and stuff than other races, and that she wants her people to really understand health better and how to take care of themselves. And I thought that was an awesome thing to do, and I thought that would be huge for the school to have more programs to learn about health and your body and kind of like your ethnicity and what you're more susceptible to. None of it happened. None of it. That's why they call Obama the silver-tongued president, because he could sure talk a big game, and he was very, very educated. But he didn't do a fucking thing for his people. Well, nothing he did. You know, Obamacare, that was a joke. Come on, guys. That was a damn joke. But at least I guess a lot of people got help from it in the lower income communities, but there were so many areas where things fell apart. There was a lot of promises made that weren't fulfilled. So maybe one good thing was Obamacare for some people, but it was a fucking joke. The Obamas were a joke. They didn't do anything. Any Democratic person that has stood up here in this state that has promised a bunch of stuff for the lower income community, the African American community, the minority community. They've never delivered to make an impact to say, wow, my quality of life is better. And people need to wake up and realize that. They are literally skimming money and laundering money right underneath your nose. It's not about the migrants. It's a way for them to bring in votes. It's a way for them to skim all this money and stuff like that. The state coming forward with $38 million, and the city only $4 million? Come on. I mean, this is ridiculous. And then nobody in the community is getting a say-so on whether or not they are okay with this. And then the people from the community coming forward and saying, you never told us this. The Asian community and the African American community coming forward that are being attacked the most in their areas where they live, saying that you never said nothing to us about this. You never gave us a choice. You never let us vote on this or anything. And this is what you're doing to us? You know what? I'm sorry to say this, but Asian America, African Americans, minority community, you voted for this shit. And I didn't want to make this political, but it is what it is. As much as corporate greed and capitalism and stuff is not what you guys want to see and feel and hear, this is what your Democratic Party is doing to you. And it should be a wake-up call to you. Every single one of you that vote Democrat should never, ever vote Democrat again after what has been happening in these sanctuary states. None of them are listening to you. None of them are helping you. And none of them are doing anything in your best interest or your children's best interest. And the schools are complete shit. Now they have minority children that are taking up space in schools and stuff like that. The reason I say taking up space is because a lot of these kids are now taking away from more of the taxpayers' dollars so they can go to school and get educated and stuff on our dime here when their parents didn't bring them here legally. While our children suffer and our children fall by the wayside, their children get to be put on a pedestal and taken care of. You guys need to wake up. The UK is in shambles because of the migrant issue there. The illegal immigrants there tore up their hotels, their cities, and stuff like that. I mean, they were showing pictures of hotels where these migrants are being housed that just trashed it. Regular people can't get hotel rooms and stuff in areas. The hotels are shut down to only government migrant people, and this is the garbage and the dirt and the filth and how nasty some of these people are and stuff like that, and how sickly, some of them dying, just filling these hotels, filling the apartments and the housing in certain areas and stuff like that. It'd be up to $9,000 every 6 months they get towards housing assistance, food assistance, furniture assistance. It's a problem. Y'all need to wake up. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. Have a great day. Don't vote Democrat. And I love y'all. Thank you for getting me to where I'm at here. Thank you for listening to my voice. Thank you for letting me be a sounding board for you guys that feel like you don't have a voice. And I appreciate you. 100%. Be blessed.
Take, for example, employees assigned to housekeeping. Favorite billed the city for 4 weeks at a median pay rate of $17,000 for each of the housekeepers. At that rate, taxpayers could have potentially paid a median rate of more than $220,000 a year for each housekeeper supplied by Favorite. When it came to those assigned to security, invoices show that Favorite charged Chicago taxpayers a median rate of $24,000 apiece for each security guard for 4 weeks' worth of work. That translates to an annual charge for each security guard of more than $300,000 a year. And then there's nursing staff. For one registered nurse at the shelters, Favorite billed Chicago a total of more than $64,000 for 4 weeks' work. At that rate, taxpayers could have potentially paid more than $800,000 for a single nurse. Should people in Chicago